Will this Bitcoin Reserve Act in the United States lead to this mythical super cycle? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, whenever you're watching this video, welcome to the Bitcoin family channel. For the newcomers, my name is Didi. In today's video, talking about Bitcoin blockchain life while walking this beautiful beach again in Phuket. Short but powerful, and I have my Muay Thai class today again guys. Let's quickly jump into some massive news that I have spoken about already a little bit, but I want to emphasize this news a little bit more, then jump into amazing charts to show you what is going to happen this weekend with Bitcoin. Are we going to see 90k or back to 100k? Let's check what my sloppy hands have to say, and of course ending it with an inspirational quote. But first of all, now the news, and now you need to start with giving this video already a thumbs up in the beginning. Now, can you please do that? Just give it a thumbs up now, okay? Thank you. Let's jump into the news. Bam! Because the biggest question for today in the news is, guys, is it legal for the United States to add Bitcoin to their reserve capital? Is this because there was a guy, I think Jerome Powell, stating it's not possible for the Fed to use Bitcoin as a reserve? Now, there is of course always the possibility for Trump on day one, on when he takes office, to use a day one executive order to purchase Bitcoin, guys. By that he doesn't have like the complete ban behind him, but still, you know, then he can start his first buying order in Bitcoin, maybe 200k Bitcoin. That would be a beautiful buy order for the first one. And then after that he can start to convince, you know, the whole Senate and everything to also understand the power of Bitcoin as a reserve asset for the United States, or as reserve capital, guys. So yes, I do believe that the United States will be playing a big role in the next coming years, 4 years of course of Trump, in Bitcoin's popularity all over the world, also in the Bitcoin adoption, as the adoption of course will completely increase when one country starts to lead by example. Of course El Salvador already led by example. El Salvador did amazing. Other countries are also leading by example. But now United States, of course, one of the biggest economy of the world, when they start to adapt to the Bitcoin standard, that gives a message to all kinds of other countries all over the world. Germany, France, Russia, all of these big players will now start to think about incubating Bitcoin into their country's reserve capital, guys, as an asset. So, very big news, I think, that Trump could do this on day one. On day one, he could just say, we are going to purchase Bitcoin as an executive order. Trump was even asked on CNBC, are you going to do the same what happened with oil in America like a long time ago? And he said, yes, I think we will. So he really wants to put Bitcoin out there as that reserve asset for the United States, guys, which is amazing because they're going to buy 1 million Bitcoins every year, 200,000, so 5 years, 200,000 Bitcoins, and they will hold it, the Reserve Act is stating, they will hold it for 20 years. So that's taking away a shitload of selling pressure in Bitcoin, guys. So that's very, very positive, of course, for the Bitcoin price. Now the question is, could this positive news lead to that super cycle that everyone is expecting or wanting or dreaming of, guys? Now, let me tell you this. I have been in this industry since 2013. And since 2013, we have been talking about a super cycle. It still was not there. I still believe that Bitcoin can just crash again with 60 to 70% in the next bear market, guys. So that super cycle in 2013 was supposed to be there because Bitcoin was getting international attention. Until that moment, it was still like small Bitcoin, small attention. But then because it became internationally known on the news and everything, that is why the super cycle should start in 2013. Of course, that didn't happen. We had a massive crash in 2014. And then in 2017, guys, it was all the mainstream adoption, the news talking about it, financial adoption, inclusion into the, the stock markets and everything that would lead to a super cycle. Let me tell you a secret. It didn't lead to a super cycle. We crashed in 2018 with 70%, more than 70%. I can still feel that pain. Then again, guys, in 2021, they said this is going to be the super cycle because now companies like MicroStrategy, Tesla, and many other big tech companies are adding Bitcoin to their portfolio as a reserve asset. So yes, now those biggest of the biggest companies start to believe in it. At that moment, I was like, nah, that's not true. Like in 2017 already, Microsoft started to sell their products for Bitcoin, etc. So many other big companies already did it. So I didn't believe in that super cycle in 2021, but people kept telling me it's going to be a super cycle. Of course, we now know it was not a super cycle. In 2021, we had a top, and in 2022, we crashed tremendously, again with around the 70%, guys. And now again, same story. People telling me, this time is different. This time is gonna be a super cycle. Why? We now have international adoption through countries. United States is gonna buy Bitcoin, Russia is gonna buy Bitcoin, India is gonna buy Bitcoin, all the BRICS countries are gonna buy Bitcoin, Europe is even gonna buy Bitcoin. So now this is the storyline for this super cycle. The worldwide adoption of countries adopting Bitcoin is now gonna lead into the super cycle. My answer to this is, I really don't believe that we will see a super cycle, guys. I really believe that we will see a beautiful Bitcoin top around 160K, and we will pull back again, this time with a smaller crash, I think around 63% to 65% crash, which would put Bitcoin back around that 60K level in the next bear market bottom. That is what I believe. I don't believe in a super cycle. You know, the only reason that a super cycle will really happen, in my opinion, is if these countries really start a Cold War on Bitcoin. If the United States really buys 200,000 Bitcoins in the first quarter of 2025, I believe a super cycle can start, because that will be this small fire igniting all the bigger fires all over the world, because that will lead to other countries looking at the United States and like, what are they doing? And if the United States at the same time will dump their physical gold, that is when I really start to believe that a Bitcoin super cycle could take place, that we won't see these bear market dips anymore. But then the United States needs to dump all their physical gold plus buy 200,000 Bitcoins. That is when it will shake up the world. That is when Russia will say, fuck it, we are gonna buy more Bitcoin. That is when India will say, fuck it, we already have the most gold in the world, now we're gonna have the most Bitcoins in the world. That is when all the other parts of the world, Asia, Oceania, Africa, are gonna say, we should adapt to this Bitcoin standard, because else we will be left behind in the future and we won't be having any power anymore in this new world, this digital world, where America again is in control. Most of these countries don't want the United States to be in control. Most of those countries are forming a BRICS collective that want to take over the control financially from the United States, that want to disrupt the United States dollar in being the world reserve asset. And that is why I believe that a Cold War between these countries in accumulating Bitcoin, forcing each other to buy more and more and more Bitcoin, would dry up the market tremendously in 2025, and that could lead to a super cycle, meaning we could go to the 500K level of Bitcoin, or even to around $1 million per level. But even then, I still expect that we will see a Bitcoin crash. I think they are comparing it to gold from 1971 to 1981. Gold at 1971 was $35. That is when Nixon said, hey, we are gonna disconnect gold from money so we can have as much as gold as we want now. And then bam, 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 gold went all the way to $850 per ounce in 1981. So that's in 10 years time, super cycle from 35, while gold already was expensive, bam, to all the way up there, $850. Now I think we are around 2K. So that's a really beautiful super cycle. So that could happen to Bitcoin if global adoption by countries, presidents, kingdoms will happen, and if they start to dump their physical gold a little bit more to buy the digital gold of the 21st century Bitcoin. That is when I believe that a super cycle can exist. In all the other situations, I don't believe in that super cycle. I believe Bitcoin will top out in 2025 and again crash with 60% to create a new bear market bottom. Beautiful long piece of news, again way too long, because I need to go back now to go training. Let's jump into the charts, and then after that into the inspirational quote. Bam! The first chart for today, guys, is this 4-hour chart. Check. Yes, my sloppy hands. I can't say anything anymore, because I'm like, these sloppy hands are being followed exactly to these levels again. Now I'm gonna delete these sloppy hands for once forever, because I don't want to taunt fate and bring Bitcoin down to this level of 83,000 US dollar. As I really believe that at the moment, with all the bullish news, this is not going to happen. I really believe that we are going to come maybe look down, let's say to these levels over there. So I would need to draw or something like this. We draw even to 90k level, 91k, come up again, maybe retest it again, you know, and then you create a head and shoulder pattern, bam, and then you fly again. Something like that is what I think that could be happening, guys. If we don't hold the 90k support, yes, then we can come down to that 84k level, come up, retest, and maybe even fall more down, guys, to the next level of support over there before we continue again in 2025. Two possibilities for me. I think that the number one possibility, this one over there, that one is going to happen. This is the second probability, so I believe this one will play out. So I will be adding to my portfolio during this dip over there, guys. Now if we zoom out, we can see that we are, like I told you yesterday, fighting that gray line there above that red. We came above it. Now we have a huge candle drop below it. Now the next candle is just opened and will close in 3 days, 3 days candles. So we are fighting this area. Now let's look back into history of Bitcoin over here. There, look, this was the bull market of 2020. Look, we came above it, red candle down below it, again above it, again red candle, fighting that area before we took off in that steep part of the bull market, guys. Can we go further back? Yes, we can, but I need to switch to the chart with more data. Stupid, Didi, stupid, very stupid. I know my face is not perfect, but I'm going to focus more on the right part of the screen, so don't worry. So we can go back here to, for example, this area also, fighting that line before we pumped to 14k. That was not the bull market. The bull market was over here, guys. This is the 2017 bull market, that beautiful bull market. Check when we first hit that line. We came above it. Red candle down below it, a green candle, again above it, again to that level. This was a very important area in that Bitcoin bull market. We need to break that gray line. It took a long time, from May 2017 all the way till August 2017. That was a 2-month, almost 3-month period that we took to break that resistance. And when we broke it, that is when we took off, bam. We took all the way off from the level of 3k to 20k. Just understand this, that is a very important level at the moment. Here the same, fighting it when we took off from 18k, bam, to 64k. So understand that this level that we're fighting at the moment over there is a very important level, and it's normal to have some dips around this level, because from here we will have again that push like that. Beautiful into 2025, guys. Now let's jump into two more amazing charts, keeping it a little bit shorter today because I am busy. These charts over here, this is the first one I want to share with you. Why? Because this is the balance of a certain country. And what balance do you think that is? This is the balance of El Salvador. They normally buy each and every day 1 Bitcoin. That's their strategy. Every day buying a Bitcoin. At the moment, they added yesterday 11 Bitcoins because they saw Bitcoin dipping. So what did El Salvador did? Just topped up their game, buy the dip, stop crying, and they bought 11 Bitcoins. Of course, El Salvador also buying 11 Bitcoins because they can see that now the United States wants to have Bitcoins, that maybe Russia wants to have Bitcoins, that many other countries want to have Bitcoins. So El Salvador is like, nah. We set this trend. And we are going to be the king when it comes to accumulating Bitcoin as a country. We are going to start now to accumulate more and more. Beautiful that El Salvador is doing that, guys. And now a very important chart. I think the most important chart for today is this one, because on this chart you will start to understand. This one was made by Caleb and Brown, as you can see over there, the name there, Caleb and Brown. Now we'll put my face there, more important. And this chart shows you the phases in the bull market, guys. We have an accumulation phase, that's the gray. Then we have a green phase of growth. Then we have the bubble phase, as they call it. And then we have the crash phase, that red part, that's the bear market. Again, accumulation over there, beautiful in 2015-16. Then we had the growth phase in 2016 to 2017, and then an explosive market from December 2016 to December 2017. 12 months of explosiveness bubble before we had that massive crash of 84%. But we went up 2,300%, plus 120%, plus 150%. Please don't forget, we first went up with more than 2,500% before we had a crash of 80%, okay? Then again, we had the same. We had this year, the accumulation, growth, and then we got the bubble area and the crash area. And that bubble area again took exactly 12 months. And again, the crash also exactly 12 months. So we have 2 years of accumulation, 1 year of bubble bullishness, and 1 year of crash. We went up 260%, plus 170%, plus 130% before we crashed 77%. Now, I've talked about the super cycle. Do I believe in it? No, I believe we're going to do the same. Here, bam, beautifully accumulation, where we already went up with 80%, all-time high before the halving. Then we have this growth phase that we are now almost exiting, because now we are arriving at that last part, the 12 months to November, December, whatever, September 2025. And that will be that bullish part, that yellow part, that bubble part. And after that, we will get a crash year. That will be 2026, December 2027. That will be the crash year, guys. So please understand, this part of the cycle, that yellow part, 9,000%, 2,300%, 260%, however you look at it, this is the most steep part of the cycle. That is the part we are looking to enter now, the most steep part of the cycle, even more than 250% or 80%, maybe 400% or 300%, I don't know. But from 100K or 90K, 200% would even bring us to 180K, 300% would bring us, yes, to 270K or something like that, to 240K, guys. So this is a very important chart to understand. We are entering the yellow phase of 12 months, about 12 months, in my opinion, to September 2025, before we see this red phase, that crash, that will end up around 60K again in 2027. Important chart, guys. Make sure you understand this. I'm turning around, guys. I know the sun now is shining into the screen, but I need to go back because else I'm too late, guys. I hope you really enjoyed the charts. The charts were again showing a beautiful volatility in the short term. Amazing for the day traders. A lot of people making a lot of profits. Of course, also a lot of people now that are investors. They are breathing. Finally, that dip that we have been waiting for. As you know, I always say, stop crying, start buying. These dips are there for you to buy Bitcoin cheap. The dollar cost average into Bitcoin below 100K. Do you remember that feeling a week ago when we were at 107K, that you were like, shit, I missed the boat. I wish we were around 90K so I could buy Bitcoin. That is now. That is the moment. Now you should be adding to your portfolio. This is the buying the dip opportunity before we go into this massive bull run in 2025, guys. That were the charts. Let's now quickly jump into the end of the video, the inspirational quote, before I leave you again from this beautiful, beautiful beach in Phuket. Bam! And it starts to, and the wind starts to pick up, guys. I hope the sound is still okay. And the inspirational quote for today, guys, is, in the end, it's not the amount of years in your life that count. It's the life in your years that count. It's not important that you turn 90 or 100 or 200 or whatever age you want to become. The more important part is that you live all those years to the fullest. It is the quality of life that you have been living in those years. It is not the amount of years. It's like many other things in life. It's not always about quantity. It is mostly about quality. Would you prefer to live 90 boring years, or would you prefer to live 60 adventurous years? That is the question. 90 boring years, probably you will end up at your dying bed and be like, shit, I would have loved to done that. Shit, I should have done that. Shit, I didn't do that. Shit, I should have done that because I love to do those things. All of those things will be in your head if you don't live a quality life, with your focus on quantity to survive as much as possible years. If you want to survive as much as possible years, please make sure that you make those possible years also quality years. Years that really matter, years that you really live the life to the fullest, really that you live life to live life. Not to add another year at the end of the year. I survived another year. Yes, that was 365 days of working my ass off for a boss, running the hamster wheel, doing the groceries, preparing food, preparing breakfast, preparing lunch. Sometimes I go into the fitness studio, and sometimes, yes, I go on 2-week holiday, and that was my beautiful life. 365 days a year, and that for 90 years long. That is probably not what you want to be saying at the end. At the end, you want to be saying, wow, I had like 365 days of adventures. Every time something different, every time a new job, every time something new, every time new people, every time new experiences. That is what I want to say when I'm on my bed at the end and like look back into my life. So, but that's the difference. Some people will choose quantity over quality. I will always choose quality over quantity, guys. So the quote for the day, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years that count, guys. That was everything for today. I hope you really enjoyed today's video. If you did enjoy today's video, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, leave a comment. What do you think about the news? Do you think it will be a super cycle, or do you agree with me it will be a normal cycle? What do you think about the charts? What do you think about the quality of life that you're living? Is that the right way you're living at the moment, or are you just adding up very boring years to the stack that don't give you any energy to do anything else? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching. I wish you an amazing Friday, an amazing weekend. On Sunday, probably a live giveaway or something. Today I want to do a live, but I can't because I go to a festival at Café del Mar. DJ Mono Link is performing over there. So we're gonna check that out today on Friday. Maybe if you're there, say hi and come have a drink or a glass of champagne. Thank you for watching, and see you tomorrow or Sunday again. Bam!